Stitchy people. Welcome to my channel. This is a channel about cross stitch. My name is Cameron. I go by Cam the Stitcher here on Flosstube and on Instagram. So if you want to give me a follow, if you are not already following, I am over there at Cam the Stitcher. And thank you for those who are coming back and who are subscribed. And I definitely notice the people that comment consistently on my videos, and I want to thank you all for coming back. If you are new here and you feel so inclined, feel free to hit that subscribe button, like the video, all that good stuff, getting that out of the way. I'm so excited to be back. I have so much to show you, so much. Also, it is a whopping 64 degrees today in Northern Virginia, and it is supposed to be getting, I think, up to 77 degrees today at some point. It is gorgeous. After I film this video, I will be opening up my windows. I'm really excited. But yeah, so I have lots of things. I've already said that. I have a finish for now. I have whips. I have a new start. I have market haul. I have a little bit of regular investments. I have Stitchy Kindness and books, of course. But first, I'm actually gonna shout out some people and thank some people because I'm overdue for that. And I tried to make a list of as many people as I could remember or could find that have mentioned me recently, given me a shout out, or just sent some love my way, or that I've just been watching. So yeah, so I wanted to shout some people out. First, I got a shout out from Rustic Threads. I had not found their channel yet, and so I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, she lives in Maine, and she stitches on lots of really beautiful things. So I was immediately subscribe, we're in it, we're there. So that was really lovely. Thank you so much. I also got a shout out from Britches_get_stitches. So Britches Get Stitches. I love the name. I also had not found their channel yet. And they show lots and lots of whips. And I believe they're currently working on, maybe have finished, the Love Bug sampler that I'm also working on, and several other people are. So please go check them out. I was also shouted out by Wolf Down the Rabbit Hole. That was a bit ago, and I want to say thank you as well. I have also subscribed. And then Stem X Stitch. She has a great channel, works on some smaller projects and some full coverage. And she has sent me lots of love, so I wanted to shout her out. I do watch all of her videos, and I am subscribed. Okay, I have so many. I do want to say I did get a shout out from Cozy Cabin Stitching, but I also was watching her immediately as she made a Flosstube, because I'd been following her on Instagram, and she is also a cross stitch designer. I believe she dabbles in quilting. I think she's actually a really talented quilter, possibly. And so she'll have quilts in the background of her videos, and awesome project bags, and you can go over there and see her designs. And she's also working on a very varying amount of whips. She's got some samplers, she's got some smaller things, she's got some cutesy things. So I'm a really big fan of Cozy Cabin Stitching. I also got a shout out from Microbiologist Makes. I love her channel. She also does obviously she does beautiful work. She did just finish that mushroom sampler from Sprouting Lupine, who is the same designer that did the Love Bug sampler, and she made it into a really beautiful pillow. And she also has a thrift finds part of her video, which I love, because it's like going to the thrift store, except that I'm not leaving my house. So she just shows you some cool stuff she found or bought, or whatever. So that was a lovely shout out. Thank you so much. And then the Impossible Stitch, Hannah over there, She's amazing. I mean, yeah, if you haven't already, she only has, I think, 2 or 3 videos, but I've been following her on Instagram for a while, and she shouted me out, and yeah, that was lovely, and I love watching her videos, and I'm sure most of you are already on that, but please, if you haven't, go check her out. And then I just recently, I think it was a couple days ago, Julie and Stitches tagged me in their most recent video, and ooh, she was a hoot and a holler. I loved her channel. She has so many whips, and so, like, she's stitching on many beautiful things, and I loved just her personality. Like, she just was it was an immediate subscribe. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, I just hadn't found her yet. She has several videos up, maybe like in the 9 or 10 or maybe more than that. But yeah, go check her out. I can't wait this weekend. I'm gonna have so much stitching time, so I will be binging her videos. So that's very exciting. And then I think lastly, I do want to shout out Stitchy Wren. Stitchy Wren is a creator that's been on Flosstube for a while, and they have just started doing some live stitch with me's, which I haven't been able to catch live, but I'm hoping I can catch the next one. They work on lots of really cutesy things, and lots of, like, if you're into gaming, like Stardew Valley and things like that, they have the projects for you. They also are super into some Halloween stitching as well. So I definitely wanted to shout out Stitchy Wren, because I do watch their videos, and I had been subscribed for a while before they messaged me, and so I wanted to send some love over there. That is it for shout outs, and I wanted to get that out in the open and in the front, and now we can jump right into stitching. First, I'm going to show you a finish. This was very much an unplanned finish, may I just say. I'm gonna put my iPad case behind it so you can see it better. I started stitching this in February. This is a pattern by the Witchy Stitcher. It was released on her Patreon in February. And I started it, and I was like halfway through it, and I wanted to finish it. So this is my finish. So cute. So if you are a horror fan, the new Scream came out recently. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, I went to go see it with my sister and my dad, and it was actually really good. I mean, Scream movies are pretty, like, campy and cheesy, and it definitely delivered that, but it was really good. I really enjoyed it. So when I came home, I was like, oh, I want to work on my, like, ghost-faced Valentine pattern, and I was so determined to finish it, so I kind of went off schedule, went off my goals for this month, and finished it. So I'm happy with it. This is stitched on 18 count black Aida with all the called for, well, actually, it's with the called for DMC, except I did replace, I think this is 816, 666, and 310 with the Etoile DMC. So it is sparkly. It's kind of hard to, you can kind of see it in, like, the hearts and the blood drippings. The knives are my favorite. So yeah, so that is a finish. I'm happy with it. I don't know how I'm gonna like fully finish it, but yeah, it's super cute. And it also, okay, funny story, when I was a kid, I would actually love to ask my dad about this, because I don't know why I had it, but I had never seen a Scream movie when I was a kid, obviously, because that would be inappropriate. But I definitely dressed up as Ghostface for, like, several Halloweens. I had the black cloak, I had the mask. It was just the classic regular Ghostface mask. And I remember wearing that for Halloween a couple of years in a row. maybe I skipped one year and like put it back on the next. Like I really did wear it several Halloweens, and I remember going to like my elementary schools. This is how young I was. I remember going to my elementary school's like Halloween thing, like event, and I remember being dressed up as Ghostface. I would like to know, was that a decision my parents made? Was that something that I wanted when I saw it in the store? I just would like to know. Maybe I'll have an answer for you guys next time. I don't know, but we'll see if my dad remembers. So that was my finish. I will then show you my finish for now, which this is a regular whip that you have seen in the rotation. This is a stitch along I'm doing. It is the Halloween wreath with frosted pumpkin stitchery, and I finished this month's portion. And I did iron it. It's still not like the most unwrinkled thing, but yeah. So obviously the new addition here, and you'll have seen where I was last time, is this portion with the witch face and the little candy and the little orange bats. The witch face is so cute. It was no joke to stitch those, a lot of block stitching. Also, if we're on the note of like mistakes, remember last week with my little cryptid stitch along, supernatural stitch along debacle with my skulls. I definitely backstitched these candles in the wrong color. But you know what? That was a lot of work, backstitching those candles. Like, it's very chaotic because it's supposed to be like cobwebs. So I'm not redoing it, and I think it looks fantastic anyways. So that's where I'm at. I'm happy with it. So I will put this away until next month. Again, I really only work on this for like 2 days, 2 stitchy sessions, and then I'm done with that part. So that's been a really nice like break in between. I don't know, like, cause that's stitched on, obviously with all the called for DMC, and it's stitched on 28 count, cashel linen, and I think the color pewter. I can't remember the dyer, but I got the kit from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, so it's whatever the called for is. And it's like just really easy to stitch on. And so it's a nice break from like when I'm stitching on 40 count or 18 count, like Black Aida, because that can be definitely tighter, a much tighter weave. So that's nice. I'm going to move on to more whips. So this is one of the other stitch alongs I've got going on. There's my me made bag. I'm good. Y'all, okay. So the third part of this came out. This is the Natural World Stitch Along by Pixel Pixie Cross Stitch, and I am almost done with the third part, but I ended up like putting it away because I just wanted a break from it. So this is stitched on 32 count Exotic Orchid Lugana, I think by Zweigart, and I am stitching it with Classic Colorworks Ora's Iris. This is the third part we've got going on here, so it's a continuation of the border. The mountains are done, the alphabet is done, well, that portion of it is. The bugs are done, and this cacao plant is done. So I just have the the border here, and then I have, I think, continuation of the fish and waves here, and then something else. Oh, mushrooms, little mushrooms go here, which I'm excited to stitch. This border, I mean, it's no joke. It is kind of a soothing stitch, but I think after like doing this and then having this month where it was just at the top and then having to do another like corner, I'm just like, I wasn't feeling it. I was kind of over it, but This is eating up so much of that Classic Colorworks floss that I feel like I definitely made a bad decision. Well, it looks nice. I like the look of it, but it was not the most economic decision that I've ever made for floss. So if I could go back, I would have gotten like a hank of something, or I would have done DMC. But variegation is really fun, so like, it's fine. But yeah, so that is where I'm at on that. You will probably see it next time. Hopefully the third part will be finished. And hopefully the fourth part will be started. Who knows? So that is my Natural World stitch along. The next whip I'll show you, dare I only got to work on this like 1.5 stitchy sessions. So I think the last time we spoke, this was the whip I was scheduled to work on like that day that I was filming. So I didn't show it to you because I hadn't had any progress. But this is one of my whip go calls for this month, one of my big ones. And this is Mary Morgan's by Fox and Rabbit. It is stitched on 40 count platinum linen by Zweigart. And this is where I am at. Excuse the wrinkles, the hoop mark, and the hanging thread, but this is what I have to work with here. So that gives you a little bit of a better look when it's hitting the sunlight there. So as you can see, bring it closer, this is what I worked on. So I brought this face down, stitched the other half of these flowers things, stitched these little flowers, did a little bit more on the border, got that down here, and then stitched this little key, and then I've started stitching what I think is a little bird. So that is where I got to, which is actually pretty decent for like only really one full stitching session. So I am stitching this with the called for DMC, one strand. I will say, I've talked about this before when I pulled this out, but I did change this part of the alphabet down here because there was like white on the outside. And I actually took that idea from Carrie from Tiger Lily Designs. She has this all stitched up in her home, and her Ada that she used was on like, I think it was like a little bit gray, and it was on the lighter side. And so she had trouble with the letters showing up and popping. So I felt the same way about my fabric, and so I did the same thing, and I went like wild though, and I just like completely changed the colors in these to like combos that I found fun out of the called for DMC that's in the sampler. So that is where Mary Morgan's is at. I love her so much. I want to finish her so bad, but it's gonna be a while. But I'm happy with the progress. I have this slotted to come out, I think 2 more times this month, but I've given them some like weekend days, so it should get some good progress. My goal for this month technically was to finish, I think, 2 pages, which is ridiculous. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm gonna be happy if I finish 1.5 pages, and that's where I'm gonna aim for. All right, another stitch along. Like that's just all my whips, just stitch alongs. This is Reaching Skyward by Modern Folk Embroidery. I am behind on this one, so I'm actually still working in part 2. I knew going into this that I would stay behind probably on this one, so I'm okay with being a part behind, just like I'm okay with being 2 parts behind on Dark Queen of the Earth, which she has not been touched this month, so you won't be seeing her. But I got a little bit of progress. I had about 2 stitching sessions on this. I'm just like stitching on this so slow. I feel like I don't know if it's how dark the fabric is, or just like the days I was stitching on it, I don't know, like I wasn't motivated, but this is stitched on 40 count Billie Jean by Roxy Floss Co. And sorry for the wrinkles, but that is where I'm at. So you can see this is what I worked in. I think the last time I showed it to you, I did have possibly this done already, and I'd started the deer head. So I went ahead and finished this up, started and finished this motif, and then started on that middle part. I'm really like, I love the colors I chose. I love the look of this. I know it's gonna be beautiful when I hang it up in my home one day, but it's just slow going. Again, this border is just no joke. I mean, it really isn't. I have a couple more whips. So not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, I actually went and visited home. And so my sister and I went and visited my dad, and we saw Scream, and we hung out and, you know, chilled around the house, ate some good food. And I went ahead and brought this project bag that has a couple of projects in it, because I was like, it already had needles in it and a pair of scissors, and I was like, this is easy to just take. Also, I've been wanting to work on these projects. So the first project that I worked on there is my Love Bug sampler. This is all wrinkled, but this is by Sprouting Lupine. I started stitching this with Marjorie from Marjorie Made here on Flosstube and Instagram. And she started the hashtag lovebug Sal, S-A-L. Oh my God, my memory's gone today. But I am stitching this on 32 count Picture This Plus linen in possibly Lugana in Sprite, I think it's called, which I think it is the called for. And I'm stitching it with the called for DMC. So that's where I got to. Last time I showed it to you, I did have the praying mantis done and that top little bug border done, and this thing done, whatever this bug is, cicada, something. So while I was at home, I finished this zigzaggy border, and then I started and almost finished this motif here. So I have a few more little doodads to fill in there. But yeah, this is super easy stitching. So it was like, when I'm at my dad's house, like I obviously don't have my Lowry stand and like my lamp right next to my couch, and so it's like a little harder to work on things there. So this was like a really good project to bring. This is my second to last whip, I believe. I started working on it at my dad's house because I had brought it with me. But then Bridgen, the museum stitcher, she had her birthday last Monday. And so for her birthday, she wanted everyone to stitch on something that started with a B. It could have been the title of the pattern, or it could have been the name of the designer starts with a B. So like stitch on whatever you've got. It could be a whip. It could be an excuse for a new start. I was good. Not really. I was good, and I worked on a whip because I had not pulled this out since I started it. So I worked on the Beatrix Potter Quaker sampler for her birthday, and I did get a good chunk done. I mean, I only worked on this like one day, so I will take it. So this is kind of hard to see when I put it like in the shadow or straight on, but I am doing a tone on tone stitch with this. This is Fiber on a Whim Peony. I have it. Yes, Peony. And this is 40 count. And I am stitching this. This is my first silk stitching. I am stitching this with Dinky Dyes in pink tourmaline. So the last time I showed it to you, here, let me make this easier for me to hold. The last time I showed it to you, I had finished definitely this motif, and I had almost finished this one. So I went ahead and finished that up. And then I started this really beautiful flower motif. Because I feel like when you look at the original sampler, like this is one of the motifs that definitely stands out. So I wanted to kind of get started on that. Sorry, this is like hard to capture the color of. I feel like if I hold it back here, I don't know. I will say it's subtle. It's okay. I know that it's hot pink stitched on pink fabric, but it is like, let me show you the silk. So this, when I got this, I was like, oh, that's too bright. I was like, oh, what was I thinking? And even when I held it to the fabric, I was like, oh, I don't know. But it actually works so well, and I'm like the most proud of this color change for me. I love changing colors. I love brightening things up. I love darkening things up. I just love changing things where it's going to be fun for me and I'm going to want it. Like, it just makes it a little bit more personalized. And like a lot of the things that I stitch that I change colors on, like I love the way the original one looks. And I stitch a lot of things still called for, because I really love the way that, you know, the model looks, but sometimes I want to get a little cuckoo crazy and I want to stitch hot pink on pink, and that's what I'm going to do, but I love it. It may not be your thing, and that's totally okay. I love it and I'm happy with it, and I want to pull this out again so bad. And Dinky Dyes, it's so like, it doesn't look like it when you hold the skein up, but it does have a very subtle variegation in it. You're not gonna be able to see it on camera, but it's gonna be so beautiful when it's done and hung up and framed, and anyways, so I'm very happy with that. It's so funny. The other day I was thinking about it. I love like my favorite colors are like hot pink and really bright, like almost yellowy green, and black too, and like I don't know, I just love all of that. And I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, I should have named myself the Tacky Stitcher, because that would have been funny. And I wear the word tacky with pride. I really do. It's a part of who I am. I was told when I was a girl and a teenager that some of the things I did or wore were tacky, and my chipped nails are tacky, and I got told that a lot. And you know what, I took that and I really absorbed it, and I said, let me make that my personality. I'm gonna take your mean comment and I'm gonna make it part of me and my personality. This is one of my whip go calls. Is one of my smaller whip go calls. My goal for this is to finish it this month. That's not gonna happen for several reasons. One, it is a lot more stitching than I thought it was gonna be, and I didn't have a big start on it anyways, which I'll show you where I was last time. And two, I ran out of the floss for the main part of this. So this is Beware of Cat by Birds of a Feather. And I did show this to you last time. I had really only done like a couple lines of this black stitching. I am using the called for because I had kitted this up when I first started stitching. I no longer purchase that floss. So basically I've run into the problem of I have no more of this floss and I'm not repurchasing it. So I was talking to my stitchy friends, and I said something, and then Marjorie messaged me and she was like, hey, one of her family members had given her a bunch of stash, and she actually had a skein of that floss in her stash, and she said, I'm not going to use it. getting rid of the stash. You don't have to repurchase. So that is what I'm doing. She is being a lovely friend and sending that in the mail. So I'm going to finish this. But I want to show you guys where I am. Is this... This linen is like very see-through, but... So I am stitching this on 32 count, like dirty witchelt, I think is what it's called, linen. And I did get a lot done. So I was working on this last night. I'm supposed to be still working on it today, but I'm actually I'm gonna stop because I know that I don't have enough floss to finish it. So I could fill in the mouth today. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. Yeah, so I'm out of this floss. I have one strand left, but I know it's not going to be enough to fill in all of this and then the ears. So yeah, I'm actually pretty far on this. I'm happy with it. I really don't have much left on the cat itself, and then I just have to do the text up top and down below in the year. And then I'll be done. I know this would only take 2 more stitchy sessions to finish, so I am excited. What I will probably do, since I can't finish it in this month, I will probably pull this out around spooky season. Now, spooky season for me, that starts late July, if I'm being real with myself and if I'm being real with you guys. You will start to see Halloween decorations late July, early August. That's just who I am, and yeah, I get really excited. So really probably like spooky stitching, it will be August through October for me. And then even in November, I mean, I'm not a huge Thanksgiving person, so like I put the Christmas tree up November 1st. I'm actually big into Christmas too, so but stitching, with stitching, Halloween is my go-to, but yeah. I'm happy with this. I think it's really cute and I'm excited to have it done. So yeah, so I feel good about that, even though I ran out of floss on that. I knew it was going to happen. I didn't read the instructions on the back where you would need more than 1 skein. And at that point it was too late. So, all right. Now my last, I guess that was my last whip, but this is actually a new start that I wanted to show you quickly. So I am participating in Stitch for Pride this year. That is a year-long learning opportunity that Dee's 20 Stitches is putting on for all of us in the stitching community and whoever wants to participate. Last month was Black History Month, and we were doing like stitching on something that was designed by a Black creator or that celebrated Black history and Black culture. So I had started Closely Kept number 1 by Shaded Stitchery. That is actually almost done. I have not shown it on my channel because it's still in the hoop and I kind of just want to finish. It's so close to a finish. I just want to finish it and then show it when I'm done. But for this month, this kind of coincided with what is already #StitchAsia, which is just a stitch along sort of thing / like monthly motivation and encouragement and education opportunity to stitch on something that was designed by a Asian designer. And Asia is, of course, a very large portion of this earth. And so there are an endless number of people to choose from. It is not a small number of Asian designers. So it is a really great opportunity to kind of go support those designers, stitch their designs, see like the differences in their designs and the cultural significance and all those things. So I already actually had a pattern in stash I had bought last year, and I'd been wanting to start it, but it was just one of those things. It's a great project for like just picking fabric and floss from stash. So this is Wonky Cat by Marumi Designs. And Miriam here on Flosstube, I love watching her videos. First of all, I feel like I'm like the red lip, the makeup, like she always has that wing she's serving. But anyway, she has really great designs. And so I started this one, and I started it on a scrap of 40 count linen from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, and I can't remember the name of it, and I don't have it with me, but it was one of their monthly fabrics from last year. But this is where I'm at. I don't have a lot done yet, but as you can see, this is like the middle of the cat's body, and it's a little bird. So I started right in the middle, and I am using, this is a variegated DMC I actually found last weekend. I always, when I go to my local craft store, I am always looking at those variegated DMC to see if there's any that I have not seen yet, that are new, that just have not been in stock before or whatever. And this one I definitely did not have, because these are so very much my colors. Like, it variegates from a hot pink to a light pink to an orange. And I thought that was perfect for this fabric. So it's like still kind of, I'm really into tone on tone right now, obviously. And this is still kind of tone on tone, but it's definitely like, obviously this is so much brighter and it's gonna really pop on this fabric. So I'm really excited. And this was that business card from the, now I can't remember, but the Protect Trans Kids t-shirt I got from this company, Queer company. This was their business card, and I was like, this is literally perfect floss drop. So yeah, so that is my Stitch for Pride stitch this month. It is more than just stitching. There are learning prompts and resources, and just go check out these 20 Stitches for more information. And yeah, I'm excited to keep on stitching on this this month, and I can't wait for next month to see what's going on and learn more and stitch on something else. And it's gonna be a long video, I'm so sorry. I wanted to talk about some Stitchy Kindness. So in my last video, or the video before that, no, last video I think, I showed my finish of the Barbara Anna Star Woman Sow. And if you are a watcher of this channel, you know that I was complaining ad nauseum about the fabric that I was stitching it on. It was Picture This Plus 32 count opalescent Lugana in the color Da Vinci. And I had said in my video, like, hey, if anybody wants this, I will send it to you. And so I actually had a subscriber reach out and say, like, hey, I would love to try that Lugana, and I would love to do a fabric swap and send you something as well. And I was like, absolutely. So I went ahead and sent that to the post office last weekend. And this subscriber was so generous, Rachel. So she wrote me a little card, and okay, first of all, she used fancy washi tape. And then this is the card. It's so pretty. One of my favorite, like, like aesthetics, like cottage core or like clown core, like all those things. One of my favorites is Whimsy Goth, and this is very Whimsy Goth. Like, it's so cute. So she wrote me a really, really nice note. And then she was so generous, and I felt guilty. I sent her a skein of DMC 310 along with the fabric, because I'm like, everyone needs DMC 310. But she was so kind and sent me a Gloriana silk, and this is in the color aubergine. Wait, that makes sense. Isn't that like eggplant over in the UK? Yeah, oh my god, that makes sense. And it's this really deep eggplanty purple. She said that she had this left over for a project and there was plenty left, and I'm very thankful. This is my first Gloriana silk, so I definitely want to stitch like a small, like maybe monochromatic piece, or fit it into a piece I'm already doing or whatever. It's so pretty. It is variegated for sure too. And it's a 12 strand silk, which I've obviously never had an experience with, but I'm excited. So that was the extras that she threw in. And then the actual fabric, she threw in a whole fat quarter, which I just, you know, all I had left was that half of the Lugana. But this is so pretty. This is 32 count Timberwolf Zweigart linen. And it's a beautiful bluey, smoky gray. I want to actually put this up against, let me chaotically get this out. So this is Billie Jean that I'm stitching Reaching Skyward on. I wanted to see, ooh, okay. We're seeing that, right? Okay, so it is denim-y, but it is much more on, it's pulling more purple and like smoky. I really love it. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this yet, but actually I do have some contenders. We'll see. So I just want to say thank you, Rachel. That was really, really kind. I hope that you get along with the fabric I sent. She did say that she wanted to stitch like a Barbara Anna on it. So that'll be really cute. So I wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will definitely be using that silk, and I will definitely be using the fabric. And this card is gorgeous, and it will be going up on my little shelf. So thank you so much, Rachel. And then I was, I got a message a couple weeks ago from a subscriber, and they messaged me on Instagram, and they were like, hey, can I send you a gift for Austera? And Austera is it's the original like Easter, pagan Easter. And so I was like, absolutely, like that's so nice of you. And I wanted to say thank you so much to them. I have their gift here. Let me show you. And I also want to send you guys over to their Ko-Fi because they have a pattern. So this is the really cute like little mini project bag, and this is the fabric. It's so cute. I like now I'm inspired. I want to make like this size project bag. And they also had these little charms inside the bag, and I went ahead and put it on the zipper for a little zipper pull. And then they sent me a really nice pair of these scissors. I've seen these before and I've never tried them, and I'm always down to have some scissors for sure. So that was lovely. And then they sent me these, I think they're 3D printed floss drops that they definitely like hand painted. So like a lot of this was the bag and these, and the pattern was all made by them. And so I wanted to say thank you. These are so cute. And then also came with this little thread jewelry, and it is the Sun tarot card. It's so cute. Anyways, that's okay. So all of that, and then they sent this cute little like card, and this is their pattern that they designed for Austera. They also have an Easter version, and they have like 3 different colorways. And this is their Ko-Fi shop. So I will put this down in the description. So if you want to go check out their Ko-Fi and get this pattern, do it, because it's so cute. And yeah, it was a lovely gift to receive. So I want to say thank you. And this was like my first major Stitchy Kindness. So I want to say thank you to both of those people, and I will be very much utilizing these Stitchy gifts. So yes, very exciting. All right, that was it for Stitchy Kindness. Now I am going to move on to acquisitions, investments, haul, market stuff. So I'm not going to explain what market is, but you know, so Nashville Needlework Market, designers released lots of designs, and makers released lots of floss colors and fabric colors and all of the things. So I was pretty good this year. I didn't go too overboard. I knew there was going to be at least one that I definitely wanted that I'd already seen a sneak peek of. But then also there were some surprises that I was like, ooh, I do want that. So first, this was probably the most wackiest one and the one I was not expecting. Like, I saw this and I was like, what? This is The Birdman Cometh by Little Robin Designs. This is, it's everything. I love the colors. Obviously, we've got this like electric yellowy green. Like this, all of this looks like it's on fire. And that's like, that looks like a church on fire. So that's fun. And like these little bird people, and just, it's crazy and I love it. The one thing I will say when I got this, I knew that there was going to be, floss called for that I do not use. I'm fine with that. I have a good time color converting. But I also noticed, just for your information, if you're going to get this pattern or if you already have it, pretty much everything in here besides one thing is over-dyed cottons that are called for. There's only one DMC that's called for. But like a lot of these portions that you see really don't have that much stitching, and it's one over-dyed thread that's called for. So like this orangey color right there, that's like the only place that appears, and that it's called for an over-dyed. So what I did was I actually looked at the pattern, matched up the symbols, and was like, I'm very much of the philosophy I'm gonna get my bang for my buck on the over-dyed threads. So what I did was I went through and I circled the DMC number if I was going to use it for that section or that symbol. So I'm actually going to end up using 8 DMCs for now instead of the over-dyed. There are 2 colors that I cannot find a substitute for, which is really annoying, but I'm going to find something. And then I went in my color and cotton stash and I found 3 substitutes for some of those colors. So obviously there's this purple, I have a color and cotton in Radiant Lilac. That's going to work great for that. There's I think it's what looks like this brown is actually kind of a green. So I ended up picking Creeping Vines by Color and Cotton for that. This bright green is the DMC that's called for. And then parts of this blue section and then all of this blue section, it's an over-dyed, really variegated blue. And this is what I found in my stash. This is Solstice by Color and Cotton. It's not as variegated as the called for, but whatever. So I'm happy with that. But I will just say, yeah, Little Robin Designs, I do have another one of their patterns, the Charming Cow Sampler. I really like it, but a lot of it is like, there's a lot of over-dyes called for, but like not a lot of like block stitching where you're going to see the effect of the over-dyes. And so for me, I'm going to use DMC in that instance. But there are some sections, like I do want to use an over-dyed here. I do want to use an over-dyed here. And then this pink, I cannot find anything. But I think I might have found a Threadworks that might work. So I might order that, but we'll see. Anyways, the next pattern I got from Market was the January Willow Sampler by Bendy Stitchy. I just really like the look of this. I have not decided. I did not get the Gentle Arts thread pack. I think it just wasn't available when I had pre-ordered this. And so I might go back and just get that, but I also might just like pull from stash because there's only 4 colors in this. So this is a really easy just pull from stash pattern. So this like dark color is a really dark green, Forest Glade. And then Parchment, I think, is this light one. And then Tropical Ocean is the blue. And then Wood Rose is this like light terracotta color. So yeah, I'm excited. I really do like this, but I haven't decided on if I'm going to use the called for or not. The next one I got was the 8th Day of Christmas sampler / tree. I am collecting these. I haven't started one of them, but I had to pick this up. My plans, if I haven't already said on my channel before, I want to stitch all the trees, but I want to stitch them all and make them into like flat finishes with a little bit of poof. And I actually want to like string them up, put like a little garland. That is what I want to do. So yeah, we'll see. I love the different skin tones that Liz used. I love that she swapped the colors for the bow. These little cows are everything. Yeah, it's just really cute. She did a great job, so that is that. And then my last one, I'm gonna take this one out of the plastic here. This was the one that I had seen a sneak peek of and that I knew I was gonna want. And I have some thoughts and some ideas. So Hello from Liz Matthews came out with this vanity sampler. She had originally, this was for like, I think a retreat. This was the retreat project. And I had seen a sneak peek and I was like, I need that. I need it. I love the story behind what a vanity sampler is. This is the original. You can see the person that had this, that stitched this probably, tore out their name and the date probably that they stitched it or that they were born or whatever, because they did not want anybody knowing how old they were. I think this is one of the most beautiful things that was released at market, and I'm not a huge sampler person. I like funky samplers. I love a funky sampler, but this to me is funky. And also the verse, okay? Youth and vigor soon will flee, blooming beauty lose its charms. All that mortal soon will be enclosed in death's cold arms. That's goth, okay? So, here's my thing. I love the look of this. It is gorgeous. Like the model. Yeah, it really is gorgeous. However, this person that stitched this, to me, I'm picturing, she's a little goth, okay? She's like a goth Victorian girl. And I'm going to do a DMC color conversion for this. And by going to do a DMC color conversion, I have already done it. So I got like really excited about this and pulled out my DMC boxes and got to work. So I actually pulled the original DMC conversion that she gives. She did stitch this in MPI. And I pulled that, and a lot of the colors that look a certain way on the model in this picture are not what they seem. So like this seems like a pink to me. It's actually not. And then this looks like a blue. It's actually like a gray, which makes sense. And it was a lot of golds. And that's not really me. And it does look gorgeous, and she did such a great job of not converting, but translating the original sampler into the model. Like, she did a fantastic job. It looks amazing. But my thoughts, I think I'm gonna stitch it on this 36 count brown sugar Linen by Fiber on a Whim. So I'm gonna darken up the fabric a bit. And then I went through my DMC and I picked some darker, like more Victorian goth colors. So this is what I'm thinking. Call me crazy or don't. So I wanted to bolden it up and also, but still keep with the antique look. So that's where I've got some dusty pinks in there. I've got dusty purples in there, some really grungy grayish greens that I'm gonna use in the border. And then I wanted to bolden it up just a little bit and have this like deep turquoise and this bright magenta, bold magenta. So this is DMC 915, which is such a great color. And then I'm using 154 for the like really dark portions in here. Really dark browns as well. Anyways, I'm just kind of grunging it up. That's what I'm doing. If you guys are interested, you can DM me or email me. My Instagram and my email will be down below. But I don't know, this is just like, I'm really excited about it. And I know it's gonna be a different look, but I think it's still keeping to the vibes of the original. Like it's definitely more me, it's definitely different, but I think it's gonna be super cool. So if you're interested in my color conversion, feel free to message me. I am not gonna start this until some of my stitchy friends are able to get a hold of the pattern. And that gives like you guys time to also get a hold of the pattern. I don't know, I might start a little bit of a stitch along, we'll see. You know, anybody's welcome, stitch it any colors you want, called for, Goth Conversion. I thought about doing a Lisa Frank conversion. I was thinking about it, but Bridget called me out on her video and was like, oh, I think Cameron's gonna do. And I wanted to, but I don't know, like for a second I was thinking like, what if I just did like neon Lisa Frank colors for this vanity sampler? Because let's be honest, like I'm going for diva, but like just there's all different forms of diva. You could be a Lisa Frank diva, or you could be a goth diva. But yeah, so that is that. I'm really excited. Big news there. That was all I got from Market. Well, that's not true. I am waiting on one pattern with Thy Needle and Thread. Top Knot Stitcher. I ordered everything from Abby from Top Knot Stitcher. She's super communicative and let us know that those will be shipping this Friday, I think the 27th. So no rush. I have no plans to start it anytime soon, but I will show that to you guys when I get it in. Okay, I have a little bit more haul and then I think I'm done. Am I done? Well, with stitching stuff. So this is just like my monthly stuff. So first, this is my last Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers fabric of the month that I'm gonna do. I went ahead and canceled. They have been lovely to work with. I have so many colorful fabrics now. I needed more neutrals. I've talked about this. So I definitely I could see myself in a year or so rejoining because I love their stuff. But this is Plum Blossoms and I got this in 32 count. So I did mostly 40 count the entire year that I had this subscription, but the last two I went ahead and got some 32 count to kind of just switch it up. But this is what that looks like. It's super pretty. It would be great for a fancy lady. it would be great for, I don't know, anything. It would be great for the Love Bug stitch along if I hadn't already started that. So yeah, so that is Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. The next one I actually joined a Fiber on a Whim Fabric of the Month club through Stitchy Box. And the reason being is because I wanted some more 36 count in my life. And also, I really like Fiber on a Whim. I've discovered, I think they are one of my favorite fabric dyers, major fabric dyers. And I got this for this month. This is in the colorway Ivy by Fiber on a Whim, and this is 36 count. Whew. So yeah, that is gorgeous. No idea what I'm gonna do with this, but I love it. I think it would be cool to like stitch a sampler on this. I just like, it's rough because this is obviously like a bold, colorful color, and it's, you know, quite dark. But I'm gonna find something. It's great stash, so I'm excited. So I'm excited to get some colorful fabric choices and some neutrals in this club. So that was that. And then my last monthly edition was the Color and oh my God, I can't talk. Color and Cotton March Thread Club. I get 5 skeins, and these are it. Pretty great like mix of neutrals and colors here. Picket Fence, great white I've got going here. This is Water Lily, pink. Tadpole, Marigold. This is a great gold. And Dutch Tulip. Nice rusty red. And so that is that. I will add these to my collection. Yeah. Okay, so that is actually it for stitching stuff. I will say goodbye to those that do not want to watch my book talk. I do have quite a few books to talk about, even though last time I said, oh, I won't have as much books. I did. I read a lot. So from here on, you will not miss any stitchy stuff, I promise. But if you want to stay for book talk, join me. All right, so first book, and I will put obviously the cover of the book here. This was called My Sister the Serial Killer. This was a very short read. I think it was like, I listened to the audiobook. It was like maybe 4-hour read possibly, or less than. It was really quick. It was so good. So basically I gave this 5 stars. First of all, I liked how short it was. It was like the perfect length for the story that it was telling. And the ending was like kind of unexpected, but also like, okay, I liked the take on it, okay? But basically it's what it sounds like. So the narrator, her sister has possibly taken some lives a couple of times, and it's this complicated story of sisters and jealousy and loyalty, and just like, it's a really good read. It's very like engaging, but also I will say trigger warning. There is some talk of abuse and different things in this, and so you kind of get to know these sisters. You get to know how they grew up and who they are now, and how this affects their relationship, and how it affects the whole like killing people thing. So that was a really good read. I gave it 5 stars. The next one I read was River Woman, River Demon. The reason I read this was I used the Libby app, and the Libby app had unlimited copies of this book. It was kind of like their like I don't know, book of the month sort of thing where they had unlimited copies, so you didn't have to like wait for a hold or anything. So I went ahead and listened to the audiobook of it. It was really interesting. So it's kind of like supernatural, very witchy. The main character is Latina, and her husband is African American, and there's cops involved, and there's a death in the beginning, and you kind of have to go on this journey of like, you know, did this person do it, or am I going crazy? Who can I trust, sort of thing. And you kind of like, the narrator starts to find little bits of evidence that kind of leans towards this and leans towards that. And she does lots of like protection spells, and there's magic involved, and it was just very interesting. And you get to know kind of her backstory as well, what happened in the past, what has led her here, all that good stuff. So it was a long book, but it was pretty good read. I think I gave it 4 stars. It did go on a little bit long. And I will say also, you're gonna kind of start to hate the main character for a second, but you have to understand she's going through a lot. So, I don't know, it was a good book. I liked that the characters were complicated, and like, you know, life is not as simple as good and evil. So, all right. The next one I read was, this is probably my favorite one I read. This is Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. This is actually, I was reading it like not knowing, and then I was like, this sounds like it's based on like a real story or something. And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, it is a nonfiction book. However, it is written in like a narrative way. So it does very much sound like a work of fiction, a novel, but it is nonfiction. So the main person, the narrator, the writer, he is from, I believe, New York, and he goes, and this, I don't remember the year this was written. It was older though. It had to be maybe 60s or 70s, I don't know. But he goes to Savannah, Georgia, and he kind of like investigative journalism, just is studying, observing the people of Savannah, Georgia. So he's talking to a lot of like major figures in the city, and getting to know the culture in Savannah, and it is wild. Like, first of all, one of my favorite things ever is Southern Gothic literature, Southern Gothic movies, like anything Southern Gothic. And so this was very much that. There is a murder in the book. There's a trial. There are a diverse, there's a diverse amount of different characters in this book that are real people. And so he does talk to, obviously, a lot of the major rich white people, but he also talks to several other community members. And Savannah, Georgia at the time was like basically 50% white, 50% black. And so there was this like observation of the disparity between these two groups, the culture within these two groups, and how they coexisted, or didn't coexist in a way. Like it was really, really good. Big recommendation, 5 stars on that one. The other one I read was The Hunting Party. I think I talked about it on Book Talk. I read the other book, I think it was The Guest List by the same author. Very, very, very similar setup. So I was actually like, okay, this is super familiar to me already, because it was written very much in the same way that The Guest List was written. And basically you're trying to figure out, there's a dead body. They go, 3 days earlier, and then you're trying to figure out who done it, who is the dead body, there's all of these secrets between this friend group. They're at like a hunting lodgy cabin type of getaway, I think off of Scotland, Iverness, I believe. So they're like secluded, and there's like this hunky like hunting guy that's also mysterious and doesn't talk a lot, of course. There's obnoxious rich friends, there's quieter, not so rich friends, and just a lot of animosity between these friends. And so it was a quick read. I did like it more than the guest list. I don't know if it was just the setting or maybe like the characters were a bit more complicated. But I did enjoy this one. So yeah, I think I gave it 4 or 5 stars. I can't remember. The next one I took a break and read some trash. So I read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. I think it's just like I get on the hype train of like people read her and I'm like, okay. And I've read several now of hers. This one was bad. So I think I talked about All Your Perfects last time, and that one was bad. But now that I've read Ugly Love, I'm like, All Your Perfects wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Also, keep in mind, the first Colleen Hoover book I ever read was Verity, and that was last year. And now after reading all of these in her catalog so far, Verity is by far... Now, it's still garbage, don't get me wrong, but it is by far the most well-written and most compelling of her books. Like, it definitely made me want to keep reading, I guess, is what I can say about it, and it had a really good ending. To me, that's my opinion. But yeah, Ugly Love is about the main character, she, like, is moving in with her brother, because she's going back to school to get her master's in nursing, and there's this drunk guy that's blocking the door, and she's like, who are you? And he is drunk, so she ends up like calling her brother and finds out, oh, it's the neighbor across the hall, and so she lets him in and takes care of him, and then he's like really just broken and just like, oh, like, woe is me. And then they kind of start a romantic relationship, but like only hooking up. So he basically says, I'm not emotionally available, I can't be in a relationship with you, and we can't fall in love, and there's no future between us. And she is like, I don't care, like, whatever, but meanwhile is like, oh, I'm falling in love with him. It is the most annoying dynamic I have ever read, because oh my God, I feel I'm getting irate about it. It's just so bad. Like, she thinks everything he does is just like, she wants to kiss his feet, kiss the floor he is walking on. And it's like, girl, he's giving you nothing. He's giving you nothing. He's giving you less than the bare minimum. He's being super sketchy. He's not talking about his past. He won't talk about anything. He's keeping you at arm's length. And like, are you like, what is, like, it's, there were a lot of dirty scenes, and so I guess maybe that's the appeal for some people. They weren't bad, but I was just like, I hated it so much. And then you find out what happened to him, and it is sad. Okay, it is very sad, but also like, you're an adult man. Like, let's maybe have some emotional maturity and like realize that you need to go to therapy. I don't like, that's, you know what? I told myself I wasn't going to talk about this book that much because I hated it so much. But anyways, yeah, I gave it 2 stars, I think, which is probably one of the lowest. I would have given it 1 star, but I mean, I did finish it. So I hated it. I hated it. And you know, maybe you'll see me in 2 weeks and I'll read another one of her books. But yeah, it was definitely my least favorite so far. If you liked the book, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry. But I personally, it was a tough read. Okay, and the last book, I've read so many books. The last book I read was I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. Everyone and their mom has read this book. Actually, probably not. It's actually just everyone. Maybe they urged their mom to read it, but this was, yes, it was very good. 5 stars. I'm not going to talk too much about it. A lot of people have covered this book. A lot of people have talked about this book. It is very good. It is if you don't know about it, Jeanette McCurdy was a child star on Nickelodeon, and she wrote this book about her mother and about being a girl in life. And like, part of that, yes, is growing up a girl in Hollywood and as an actress and in front of these cameras and in front of these producers and these teams of people. But also, it's just, what I found most compelling about it was like, just, even though I have not been through all of the same things she has been through, it still just encapsulated what it's like being a girl and growing up and going through puberty and being seen when you don't want to be seen. Like, it was just so good and so compelling. Obviously, huge trigger warning on this. I mean, it covers lots of really, really tough topics: abuse, eating disorders, etc. And so I don't want to go into too much detail about that, but it was very much, if you are a person that has experienced any of those things and you don't want to read about it, I do not suggest this. However, if you're a person that has not been through those things or has been through those things and feel strong enough and you want to read about someone who has been through similar things and that makes you feel validated, or gives you some sort of emotional release, I definitely recommend it. There are funny parts in the book. Obviously, Jeanette McCurdy is a funny person, and so you know, this is her story, and she tells it from like kind of the perspective of like what age she is in those moments. So she kind of keeps you with her enclosed in amber in those moments and how her mindset was. And obviously this is her thinking back, but we're kind of going through it with her as the book goes. So yeah, if you have a complicated relationship with your mother, this is also a great book. But yeah, so that was the last book I read. I finished that yesterday, so that was good. I have a couple more books that I am in the midst of reading, so I'm sure I will have probably just as much to talk about next time, even though I said I wouldn't. But that's it. So please comment down below, what are you stitching on for spring? I'm kind of skipping right to bright summer stitching, I feel like, but I don't have a lot of spring stitching going on. But I'm excited for the warmer weather. I'm excited for a new month. I'm excited for work to get less crazy, but we'll see. So anyways, I think that's it. I'm gonna call it there. Yeah, again, if you are interested in anything or have any questions, I will have my Instagram and my email down below. I will start putting my email down there. And also, if you feel so inclined, you can buy me a coffee, and that will also be linked below. And that just supports this channel. I'm hoping I will reach 1,000 subscribers in the near future, and I can do a bit of a giveaway here. So that would be really fun. So yeah, that is it. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for listening to Book Talk. Thank you for making it this far, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.